This is Doodle News Network, and I am your host, Dirk Doodle. Welcome back for more inspiring news. In a thrilling turn of events, scientists are edging closer to mastering nuclear fusion with 200 lasers and a tiny fuel capsule, while President Biden has pardoned thousands convicted of marijuana charges. In a landmark case, Glenn Simmons is declared innocent after a staggering 48 years, and in a medical breakthrough, artificial intelligence has helped discover the first new antibiotics in over 60 years. And in a heartwarming tale, a dog survives in the wild for nearly 7 years before being rescued. Stay tuned for more details. Let's dive into it. President Joe Biden has pardoned thousands of individuals convicted of marijuana use and possession on federal lands and in Washington, D.C., in a move aimed at rectifying racial disparities in the justice system. This latest round of executive clemencies expands on a previous round issued before the 2022 midterm elections. The pardons are designed to help those affected overcome barriers to employment, housing, and education. Biden stated, "Criminal records for marijuana use and possession have imposed needless barriers. It's time that we right these wrongs." The pardons apply only to marijuana offenses and do not result in immediate release from prison. Those pardoned will need to apply to the Justice Department to receive certificates of pardon for housing and employment purposes. Biden also urged local and state leaders to take similar steps to erase marijuana convictions. A 12-year-old Patterdale Terrier named Rose, who had been missing for nearly 7 years, was rescued by the non-profit Lost Dog Recovery UK South. Rose was found wandering in Crawley Down, a village in West Sussex, England, where locals had been feeding her. The rescue group established a feeding routine and eventually captured Rose using a trap baited with a warm roast chicken topped with pâté. Through her microchip, they discovered that Rose had gone missing within 24 hours of being adopted in March 2017. Her initial owners were contacted but were unable to take her back due to changed circumstances. Rose is now receiving care at Last Chance Animal Rescue in Edenbridge, Kent, and the organization is fielding rehoming inquiries. The rescue group said, "Although we will never know when exactly she came to settle in Crawley Down, what we do know is that she is finally safe, and now will not spend the rest of her senior years fending for herself in the cold and wet." Glenn Simmons, a man who spent 48 years in prison for a murder he didn't commit, has been declared innocent by an Oklahoma judge. This is believed to be the longest wrongful conviction in the United States. Simmons, now 70, was released on bond in July after evidence was found to have been withheld from his defense attorneys. The case against him was officially dismissed on Tuesday. Simmons' attorney Joe Norwood expressed relief and satisfaction, stating he felt vindicated to have his name cleared, that he is innocent and didn't do this. "I'm just real happy that all the work paid off for him." Simmons, who was just 22 at the time of his conviction, is now seeking compensation for his wrongful incarceration, which is capped at $175,000 in Oklahoma. Scientists at the National Ignition Facility in California have made significant strides in the quest for fusion energy, a potentially limitless and clean power source. They've successfully replicated a nuclear fusion reaction that releases more energy than it consumes, a process known as ignition, multiple times this year. This achievement marks a crucial step towards a solution to the global climate crisis. The fusion process involves firing nearly 200 lasers at a peppercorn-sized fuel capsule, creating temperatures and pressures extreme enough to generate large amounts of energy. Despite the energy produced being relatively small, it's enough to prove that laser fusion can create energy. The focus now is on scaling up fusion projects and reducing costs. As U.S. Secretary of Energy Jennifer Granholm stated, "Harnessing fusion energy is one of the greatest scientific and technological challenges of the 21st century. We now have the confidence that it's not only possible but probable that fusion energy can be a reality." In a groundbreaking development, scientists have used artificial intelligence to discover the first new antibiotics in over 60 years. The AI technology helped identify a new compound capable of killing drug-resistant Staphylococcus aureus bacteria, a major global health threat. The team from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology used a deep learning model to predict the activity and toxicity of the new compound. They trained the model using data from approximately 39,000 compounds evaluated for their antibiotic activity against the bacteria. As James Collins, professor of medical engineering and science at MIT, said, "Our work provides a framework that is time efficient, resource efficient, and mechanistically insightful from a chemical structure standpoint in ways that we haven't had to date. This discovery could be a turning point in the fight against antibiotic resistance. That's it for this week's fill of inspiring news. Let me know in the comments which story you liked best. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. See you next week.